On today's episode, we're gonna cover the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof Rye. Yep. You may or may not have seen it in a while. I know it took me a while to find it. We're gonna figure out what the hype is and does it live up to it. I got by the name of. Let's get into this.
Play the intro. I go by the name of Lord.
Let's rip you some whiskey. And we're back. Now folks. Woo! We got a heater today. If you like ryes and if you like high proofs, this might be the vibe for you. Damn, that rhymes. I should probably package that and sell it as a jingle. Oh wait. Anyway, but before we get into anything else further, go ahead, drop your boy a good old like. Really subscribe. Stick around for a while. Anywho, so this particular bottle, Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof Rye. Said it 5 times. It sounds crazy, right? Now I've been looking for this for a minute, only because it was the hype, it was the standard release, and FOMO set in, and I was able to find this more than once. So I would say, to back up, so Jack Daniel's, they obviously make a rye, right? And then they make a single barrel rye, and then they make a single barrel rye select, which sometimes you can see as store picks. Those were usually the maroon label ones. And then they just didn't make anything above that. But they did come out with LEs a few years. They came out with I think some kind of toasted rye concoction or something, and then a double barrel rye they came out with. Then they came out with the bonded rye, which the bonded rye was good, but nothing like this until 2020. They came out with the Tennessee 2020 Rye Single Barrel Proof Rye Select, and this was a limited edition in 2020. This was the bottle that everybody during the pandemic was going crazy over, because Jack Daniel's released a barrel proof rye expression. This one in particular, if you care, is 134.4%. This was the rye that everybody was looking for. Secondary prices on this was crazy. And also if you care, this was bottled on 11/11/22. So this one was all the hype when Jack Daniel's dropped their first barrel proof rye. This was the bottle to have. This is the holy grail. So yeah. And then honorable mention, I just gotta say it since this is up here. The Coy Hill. This is 141.1 proof. Once again, just like that one, this was the hype. But they did come out with Jack Daniel's, the barrel proof, versions of their single barrels, which I think the hottest one at the time I bought, I believe, was 133, and that was still good. So 141.1 is even crazier. This is technically considered hot as mud. You can't even fly with this. This is so hot. Anyway, so today we're getting into a regular offering with a little work you could find on the shelf. Is the single barrel proof rye. Once again, said it 5 times. Single barrel proof rye. 1. The single barrel proof rye. 2. The single barrel proof rye. 3. I'm not gonna say it no more. Anyway, you get that deal. So we're gonna see what it tastes like. Now, folks, either some of you may or may not like rye. I would say rye is an acquired taste. From when I started my journey, there wasn't too many rye varieties available on the shelf. It was a very, very small selection. Now the category has blown massively. Now, with that said and done, there are a lot of expensive ryes in the secondary market that people have been looking for. Obviously, the Red Hook ryes. I've seen that go as much as $100,000 a bottle, but we're not here to talk about $100,000 bottles today. We're talking about easy to find MSRP if you can find in your area and if it's worth it. Boom. So already I would say this color is just dark. It's not super dark, but it's just darker than any rye that I personally had before. So yeah, usually on a lot of ryes, I get, obviously like the bacon spices, but you do a lot of times too get like the minty notes and things like that. So I'm curious in general, does this transfer over? Now I would say, oh man, god damn. Woo, this 136 is working. It's earning its keep. I can't lie. This nose is amazing. If you had to buy any rye on nose alone, I recommend this. Now, with that said, it is going to vary from barrel to barrel. It's a single barrel expression. This isn't necessarily a batch. So the bottle I purchased here isn't going to be the one necessarily you have, unless you have this particular one bottled on that date. From this particular barrel, they do have the number on there. So yeah. Oh, this nose is pleasant. Already, I would say the first note that jumps out at me, it smells like the grass just been cut, but it's not bad grass. It smells like, people who have like really, really good lawns and they take care of their grass and they get cut every week. It smells like that. Oh man. On top of that, there's a pickle note in there. I love pickles. Let me know in the comments if you love pickles, but it's more like a salted pickle. I particularly love the pickles, and I get them cut in like quarters from Jimmy John's. I love Jimmy John's too. Also, let me know if you like Jimmy John's in the comments. And what do you get from Jimmy John's? Oh man. So yeah, you do get that oak presence in there for sure. The ethanol from it, I would say, isn't crazy. Maybe because it's where I am right now in my journey. Maybe somebody else was put their nose in a glass and like it would just
Send off all noses,
It smells super pleasant. I just want to smell this all day long. There is a faint honey note in there, but it's not like usually like a rich honey. This feels like kind of like almost like a cheap synthetic honey that I get in there. And then there is there's a animal cracker kind of like cookie-esque note in it. I guess you could say biscuit. Let's say biscuit. There's a biscuit note in there. The legs are just crazy. The legs are just kind of like, look at me, I'm legging. It's just like, it's just hugging in there. It's just thick. You can tell the viscosity in there is just like about to be coating for real on the mouth. So let's go in for the taste. Oh, that is good. Spoiler alert. Now, I would say the notes do transfer over. That first hit, I'm 1000% getting a pepper note. More like a crack peppercorn note. I'm definitely getting on there. I'm definitely getting the pickle still. There's hints of dills in there. A little bacon spices. The graham cracker note is very faint in the background. There's also what is that? Let me go back in for another taste. There is, okay, so that cherry note is not necessarily a cherry note in here, but it does taste like if I was eating in like a Twizzler. So on the palate, not necessarily the nose, I am getting that Twizzler note in combination with the animal crackers and things like that. This is good. The finish is long. The viscosity in this is crazy. It's coating on the mouth. This is a vibe all day long. This is something I personally like. As you can tell, I went ahead and opened up the bottle. This for me is definitely, if you see it on the shelf for retail, MSRP or maybe a little bit above, if you feel comfortable with that, go ahead, jump it, do it. But I will say, this is not necessarily something I would pay twice over the MSRP for, because once again, this is a readily available product that they're supposed to have on the shelf. So if they're gonna come out, you just gotta be patient, and I'm pretty sure it'll hit your market, especially if your market has a lot of Jack Daniels SKUs on the shelf and things like that. This in general, this is like, it's everything you would want in a rye. This is something that I definitely would share with a friend who's into ryes, depending if they are into ryes and they have experienced like like the Pikesville of the worlds, and like maybe like the Willet ryes or like the Kentucky Owls and things like that, then maybe we can get into this. Because like if they just been drinking a 95.5 rye from Bullet and then you give them this. Like your friend's gonna hate you. Like I've been drinking this for like so long. I've been chilling, drinking my Bullet Rye for so long. You introduce this dumbass concoction of 136 proof to me, blowing out my palate. Oh wait, hey yo. Anyway, so highly recommend this one. Alternatives, if you couldn't find this one, yeah, I don't know. Like I just don't know. You really don't find too often in a while that high proof of a rye, and if you do, it is overpriced because 9 times out of 10 that company who sells it doesn't even distill it. I know there's a bunch of like MGP ryes in circulation that you could find that's kind of like high up in proof, and there's a bunch of Canadian ryes too that you could find. Like I know like the Obtainium series, they have a bunch that are like super high. I've been trying to look for them for the longest, but I can never find those. And they even got some ryes that are like high age, you know, like 20 years, whatever. They're kind of high proof too. You just gotta look for them. But that one is good. Is a good sipper. And I haven't necessarily had that on ice, but as is, this is good. This would definitely pair well with a cigar. So I do like to cook. I would say if I was pairing this with some food, I would definitely put it on the rocks. And here's my thing. I would put it on the rocks because I wouldn't necessarily want it to overpower anything that I'm necessarily making. I would probably power this with the nice like seafood dish. So if I'm making, let's just say Chilean sea bass, or if we do something with like mussels and a pasta, we can do it like that. I guess you could do like a seared sockeye, like salmon type of vibe with that. But asparagus, I would definitely do an asparagus dish, or Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts. Let me know in the comments if you love Brussels sprouts. But I would do some seared Brussels sprouts and pork fat, obviously, and that would be good. If you're into like more heavier meats, I probably wouldn't pair that with a steak. I love steak. I have other things I pair with steak, but maybe if you do like a nice like cut of pork chops, I would do that with, or lamb chops, or you know, like the lamb steak, whatever. I feel like will pair really well with that. Laura, do you recommend this? All day long. If you can find it for retail, go for it. If you like ryes, go for it. If you don't like ryes and on the fence, then I would highly suggest you do a few things. You get the bonded rye. Start there first. It's 100 proof. Can't go wrong. Get the bonded rye. If you like the bonded rye, move on to the single barrel rye, which I believe is 94 proof. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure it's 94 proof. And then if you like that, then eventually get to that. But before you get to this, you should probably pick up a single barrel version of the bourbon and try there first, because like level of like intensity are going to be the same matched. And one cool thing I would say with Tennessee whiskey, in particular Jack Daniels, since they do the Lincoln County process, which is a filter method they use with charcoal that they make on site to filter their distillate before it goes into the barrel, and it mellows it out, it vibes it out, it chills it, it tames it. It is a vibe. So I would say the proofs that are on here, don't be discouraged. Like you may see 136 or you may see 129 or 134. They don't drink that hot. Versus another distillery that you may find, and they have that proof and it drinks hot, because 9 times out of 10 it is a younger whiskey, and they just take it verbatim. Versus this, sometimes it is a little older whiskey and it goes to like that mellowing process, so it kind of tames down all the intensity of, you know, the heat from the distillate. So if you like this one, go ahead, give me a good old like, comment, and subscribe. Oh yeah. And like I always say at this time, folks, cheers, salud, sante, Kobe, and all that jazz.